Hey gang, Ronan here. Welcome on back to the Retrocade and welcome to another episode of Sports Saturday, where we set the Wayback Machine back in time to the 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th generation and play a classic sports game. If you've been enjoying the content on this channel so far, as always, the best way to show it is hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you are new, and then you'll be notified of the latest content. Thank you to everybody who has subscribed in the last week. I have seen the numbers go up. It has been much appreciated, and I do hope you enjoyed our playthrough and our revisit to the classic 1986 Nintendo Entertainment System game, The Legend of Zelda. For this week's Sports Saturday, because the NFL Draft has occurred over this past 3 days, culminating today in Kansas City, I decided that it was time that we needed to go and play an NFL football game, especially because we played Australian rules football last week on the PS2 with AFL Premiership 2005. But in my desire to go outside the normal sphere of games that we would play that would commonly work in the genres, we're going to play the original NFL Gameday from 1996 for the PlayStation 1. Now, this game was part of the franchise that spanned a decade by 989 Studios, which was later turned into Sony Interactive Studios America, which then later became Sony Computer Entertainment of America. And they were a really big deal in the early days of the PS1. They helped really get in a lot of the same ways that Rare was the catalyst for getting Nintendo off the ground with the NES. Sony recognized that they needed an in-house team that could give them games that would get people connected and have them want to start picking up PlayStation as soon as humanly possible. So what we're going to do today is we're going to play just a basic game on NFL Gameday, which for a long time was considered to be the best game that wasn't named Madden for the original PlayStation, especially when it came to sports games. And we're just going to do a basic preseason game. It'll be 5-minute quarters, so this will hopefully not be a fast, or it will be a fast game, I should say. And then we will go from there. Now, this isn't a hard game to play, but by modern standards, I mean, it's like going back and playing playing Madden on the Genesis or on the Super Nintendo. The graphics are a little bit more archaic, but if you're familiar with NFL football, then you get the long and the short of it. The mechanics are pretty straightforward. You have when you're on offense, you can run the ball, you can pass the ball, you'll have plays that you can call that you'll see throughout the game. Same thing on the defensive side. And obviously, whoever has the most points at the end of 4 quarters wins. Now, to play this game, I began playing it on the PSX emulator. It's a free emulator. And it allows me to be able to stream my games a little bit easier. So, also keep in mind that tomorrow we will have Suckerpunch Sunday coming up. I do apologize, by the way, for this getting out a little bit later than I planned to today. 2 reasons on that. One, my work schedule has been a little bit heavy this week at my day job, so, not making an excuse, but comes with the territory. And 2, the weather has been spectacular on this side of the country where I now live, which has been great. The downside of it is now that the weather is warmer, I have to start dealing with allergies, and that's not so fun. So, let's get this game underway. I'm playing as the Pittsburgh Steelers versus the Houston Oilers, who are now known as the Tennessee Titans. But one of the things I love about playing games like this is the true retro feel of it. In being able to go back and revisit teams that aren't necessarily around, which is a rarity in the NFL. The Houston Oilers really were the last team to disappear from the league when they relocated from the Houston Astrodome, which is what we're playing in now, to Tennessee. So, as you see, I can scroll through, and there are different plays that I can call. You use the circle button to change the player on the field, and then X to go forward, and then you just got to hope you call the right play, and then it's square to tackle. When you're on offense, when you're the quarterback, X will hike the ball. If you hand it off to the running back, X will give you a speed burst, and the circle will give you basically like a spin move. But this game genuinely reminds me, and I'm definitely dating myself here, but way back in the early days of video games, because kids were looking for things to do and because they were still dealing with systems that predate the crash of 1983, one of the most popular games, one of the most popular tabletop games that you played was electronic football. Where you had I shouldn't say a full size, but you had a big metal platform by which you could set up little plastic football players on it, and then you hit a button, and they would all just kind of buzz and run around, and you had to keep track of who had the ball and who didn't. I never really understood how that game worked, but I knew kids who played it religiously. In fact, it's such a retro thing that if you go on eBay or Amazon and look up electric football, you can still find them. They're very, very kitschy things. I was trying to get my nomenclature right there. But we're already about halfway through this first quarter. And Houston is just matriculating the ball down the field. Now, each defensive group that we pull from for a play sets the players up in different ways. 46 attack is a bit more aggressive, but it didn't just stop them from going right in the score. So Houston is on the board 6-0 with 2:42 to go in the first quarter. Now, when this game came out, again in 1996, it was massively well received. Electronic Gaming Monthly gave it 9 out of 10. Game Fan gave it 195 out of 200. Next Gen Magazine gave it a full 5 stars. Maximum Magazine was really kind of the lowest center and only gave it 3 out of 5 stars. But GamePro awarded it the best game of 1995. Next Gen ranked it already in 1996 in their top 100 games of all time at number 28. Because it was, again, a fully licensed game, so you had the actual players, you had the actual teams. And the action is easy to follow, and it's very kinetic. I needed to get that one down the field for a pickup of nearly 30 yards. That was great. In 1998, Next Generation Magazine, when they did their top 50 games of all time, ranked NFL Gameday and they said, quote, "Truly, this is the football game that appeals to both the hardcore fans and the masses." And when you're making a sports game of any type, as we talked about with The Legend of Zelda, so I mean, really, that's the big thing about any game is that you got to make sure that you can make it interesting enough to be an item that gets picked up by everybody. You can cater to the hardcore fans, sure, if you really want to. And you can have elements of the game that will help, secure that part of the fan base. But you've also got to be able to get first-timers to come in and play. And for kids of my generation, I was 18 years old when this system came out. So, the PS1 was really something that I was looking at as the first system I could buy with my own money. And back then, the original PlayStation was $300, which, even by modern standards, is not a small chunk of change. The PS5 right now is still going for $500. As we're near a first down marker, and it's 3rd and 6. Okay, so I gotta come up with something good here. Well, the play action pass worked well last time. Hopefully this will work well this time. Oh, and he dropped it. I cannot believe he dropped it. Now, you can hold the triangle button and hopefully your guy will catch it. But we're going to have to settle for a field goal here. And we drove it. So it's 7-3 Houston. And we're on the board. There we go. Now, when this game was released, it sold 300,000 copies by March of 1996, which made it, for a time, the biggest selling game that the PlayStation had, which was quickly eclipsed by, picked it off. The original Resident Evil. But by the end of 1996, this version of NFL Gameday had sold more than 1 million games, which by any metric is still a fair haul and a good, successful indicator of how the trajectory of a game is going to go. Now, unfortunately for this franchise, while it ended up continuing on for another decade, Madden, which got off to a slow start, to be honest, in the 32-bit generation, it wasn't as huge as it was during the 16-bit generation. It took a little while for EA to find their feet, but when they did, I was sacked. Took my eye off the defense there. But by the time they did, it was very evident that Sony was going to have their hands full. Ooh, I gotta kill the play here quick. Can you get it? Yes, he can! Got it, and it's a first down inside the 10. Let's see if we can run it in. Oh, we got the 2-minute warning. Now, even back in 95, the reviews that were critical of NFL Gameday pointed out it wasn't by any stretch of perfect football. But it got more right than it did wrong. And sometimes that's really all you need. Which may sound crazy, but when you're trying to get yourself... Oh yeah, we got through. Okay, I was like, that's close, but I didn't see the signal for a touchdown there. So we've taken the lead. But anyway, back in the day, I actually played this one more than I played Madden. And I played it for longer. I didn't get a Madden game until I got Madden 2005 for my PlayStation 2. I was very much in the camp of sticking with 989 and playing Gameday. But the problem was that as further titles came out, they didn't innovate, which EA is finding out, and has been finding out for the last, I'd say, half a decade. Taking more out of the game and not putting enough in is ultimately detrimental to the long-term health of the franchise. There's a reason why I had Madden 2005, and then I got Madden 2007. And I didn't buy another Madden game for over a decade. And it wasn't because I didn't want to play them, but it was because the games were taking out more and more of what I liked about playing football. And substituting it for things that I didn't care about, namely a lot of the microtransactional stuff that we've seen in the PS4 generation and carrying over in the PS5 generation. Second pick of the ball game. That could have come at a better time. And this isn't an argument of get off my lawn as being a gamer, but there is a valid argument to be made in how it does not serve anybody any good in the long run to make a video game that is purely based on the idea of costing you more money. And I say that as somebody as depending on the game, like I have purchased DLC for various games that I have played. But then again, I also look at the cost of the DLC versus the return on the investment. I don't do it all the time. And he gets there. Oh! That's frustrating. I remember that being in this game where you were so sure you had the ball and you had a line to score, and then the next thing you know, you get hit and the ball pops loose, and more often than not when that happens, you get picked off. But I never understood how there was anything wrong with just having a solid video game of any sort that had as much features and bits as they can, especially nowadays where games are so big in terms of memory size. I mean, there's so much graphics, so much interface involved in it, and so much interaction involved in it that you deliberately hold stuff out so you can charge more money in some ways to recoup the investment you made in putting the game together in the first place. I don't have a business degree, nor do I. But you look at the state of modern video games and how a lot of people are getting more and more fed up with that sort of business model because they want to be able to play a game that caters to their particular tastes. And how many games are coming out that are buggy and have built-in problems out the gate. There were no bugs with this game, really. Was it a perfect game? No. But you could grab it out of the box, pop it in your PS1, and play it to your heart's content. There's something to say for that. And that's something we have lost in subsequent generations. And with that, I thank you for coming to my virtual TED Talk. Oh, yeah, that was picked up the second I threw it. I knew there was no way he was going to get over there. So we're still leading 10-7 with 4 minutes to go in the third. But now he's at the ball and they're driving. One thing I did definitely love about this game was I thought 989 got the sound effects just right. Because they remind me of classic NFL films, videos that I've been watching. And if you've never actually sat down and listened to an NFL game and listened to the impacts that the men who play it sustain, it's scary. People sit there and say that football is a contact sport, and it is, but it's more of a collision sport. And especially with all the medical advancements we've seen in the past 20 years, we've seen the toll that takes on the human body and specifically the brain. However, part of the appeal in the latter 20th century in making the NFL what it is was how they marketed their sport. And it took a guy out of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania named Ed Sable, who had been a coat salesman. I'm not making this up. And he was also an amateur movie maker who had the crazy idea of convincing the NFL to start their own film company. And the NFL at the time had the presence of mind to think, well, if we want to make the sport the biggest sport in the country, we need the ability to grasp the image that shapes that narrative. And they did. Over the next 50 years, the biggest reason why the NFL surpassed baseball as the national game, and basketball, and everything else, was because it presented itself in a package that was appealing enough to the masses. Again, it was able to satisfy the hardcore fans, who were always going to be NFL fans no matter what, but also get new fans and new generations to start watching football games. That's what you need to do. And with the help of Ed Sable and his son Steve, they were able to do just that. And that's one of the reasons why the NFL is the biggest sport in the world. Now, when I said the reason why I wanted to play this game this week was because of the NFL draft, that's another big part, is that when I was a kid growing up, the NFL draft was like watching wallpaper draft. It was stodgy old men in a hotel room in New York City just picking players. It made no difference to me one way or the other. But about 5-6 years ago, the NFL was faced with a situation of where they would hold the draft in New York City. They were being told by the owner of the Radio City Music Hall, who isn't an NFL owner, but he's an NHL and NBA basketball owner, named James Dolan, who is also a property magnate in the Big Apple. He basically went to the NFL and said, you either give me a lot more money or you can't hold the draft here anymore. And the NFL made the decision of, well, okay, if we can't have it in New York City, then the best we can do is take it on the road and see what happens. Well, that proved to be such a huge success overnight in every city they went to that now I doubt that will ever not be a thing. Because, again, there are 32 teams in the NFL, which means there are 32 cities around the country full of passionate NFL fans. And being able to bring the draft to the towns, to those cities, and have everybody show up and root on what their teams are going to do to potentially make themselves bigger and better and contend for a Super Bowl, from a marketing and PR perspective, is brilliant. Why they didn't do it sooner, I don't know. But they have arguably the most maligned sports owner in the country to thank for that, because he was so short-sighted that he thought he could put the NFL over a barrel and make them do what he wanted. And the NFL bows to nobody. So we get like the draft wrapped up today, and the NFL draft it's a 7-round deal where every team gets to pick players. Oh, Man, Levon almost brought that all the way back, which for a guy his size, he was a linebacker. If I had been able to run that back, that would have been funny. But if you don't know how the draft works, it is the means by which each team gets new players. They pick them out of college, and it's in every team gets a certain number of picks over 7 rounds. And it used to be all done in one day. But again, part of the marketing and the broadening of the overall appeal of the sports to the masses is let's make it a 3-day, 4-weekend event. So it's essentially an unofficial holiday for NFL fans. So we need to kick this and get it through to get back in the lead. I think we got it. We did. So we're 13-10 with 3 minutes to go. Oh, nice hurdle. So we're going to have to stop Houston here if we want to have any chance of winning this game. If they get a touchdown, they win. If they kick a field goal, we go to overtime. And my overtime history is not great. But if I can hold on and get the win, I will have my 12th win in this series, and I will go to 12-6-2. 12-6-3, rather. Uh-oh. Now they're across midfield, and we're closing in on 2 minutes to go. So we will get the 2-minute warning. We've still got all our timeouts, still got all their timeouts. And now we're at the 2-minute warning, although this is going to let us wind down here a bit. 2, 1, they're not going to hike it in time. Okay, I need to come up with a play that's going to stop them. They're still running the ball, which I wasn't expecting them to do. I was expecting them to pass it instead of throwing it. There we go, picked it off. Okay, now all we have to do is not cough the ball up in the next minute and a half, and we will get the win. Now I say that knowing full well it is possible to fumble the ball or to throw a pick, and I'm going to do my utmost not to have that happen. Alright, we got a first down, which is crucial. We absolutely needed that. Now we got 52 seconds to go. Go right up the gut and burn some more time off and make them run down another timeout. So Houston only has one left. So we got the first down, and that's their final timeout. So now we just got to get through the last 35 seconds and hope that we do not cough the ball up and let them run it back for a score. Which has happened in NFL games before. But now we're going to let the clock run. And that should do it. So we will go to 12, 6, and 3. As we defeat the Houston Oilers 13-10 in the old Astrodome. And that, everybody, is NFL Gameday, the original NFL Gameday, for the Sony PlayStation 1. If you've enjoyed that, and I hope you did, and we were able to get this done in years ago, never half an hour, which is exactly what I was aiming for. But best way to show is hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you are new, ring the bell to be notified of the latest content. Remember, we will have Suckerpunch Sunday coming up tomorrow, where we will play a fighting platform-based game from the 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th generation. I'm thinking I will probably do a WTF Wednesday feature this week instead of jumping back into a new playthrough, only because my work schedule is pretty packed, but I have enough time that I can at least get one of those done, and I have an idea for WTF Wednesday already. So if you're not familiar with that one, it's where we go and explore a game that on paper seemed like a good idea, but in reality turned out to be anything else but. And it's actually one of my favorite games I'm thinking about doing this week. So be sure to check that out as well. Follow us on Instagram at Rodent's Retrocade and help spread the word about our pokey little channel so we get to our goal of 100 subscribers as soon as possible. And we can unlock YouTube's customization algorithm and make this channel bigger and better. And if there is a game you would like to see us feature from the Nintendo Entertainment System, the Super Nintendo, the Sega Master System, Sega Genesis, or Mega Drive, SNK, Neo-geo, Nintendo 64, PlayStation 1, or PlayStation 2, leave it in the comments below or drop me a line on Instagram. It can be any game you want. And as always, my name is Ronan. Been great to spend this Sports Saturday with you. Be safe, be well, happy gaming, and we'll talk to you tomorrow for Sucker Punch Sunday. Bye.